like been thinking about this documentary that I watched a couple of days ago, and I actually started to make a video about it, but then my phone was about to die, and like for some reason it just didn't seem like what I needed to say wasn't being said like correctly or like in the right time. It could have been any of those, but I've just been thinking about it so much because it's like watching how people are reacting to all of this and how people's demeanors are changing, and some are like really cool, and you know, it's like they're about creating and they're, you know, wanting us to unite, and then on the other hand it's kind of like every man for himself kind of thing. And I think it's that kind of attitude that got us so controlled and ruled by, you know, darker energies and, you know, in our lives and in society. And because in in a lot of ways, when people are trying to be selfless, it's more in a selfish way, which is kind of defeating the whole, like it defeats the whole purpose. And it's like I've had this conversation with my mom, and you know, it was just along the lines of, you know, you should just do something because it's kind, or because you know something and you know it could help someone else, you know, not like trying to get something out of it. And you know, it's like I know we're all in like a tight bind, and we're all struggling with, you know, the changes in our society, and you know, the shift in our, you know, community and all of our energies, really. But I think the only way that things are going to be different and change after this is if we change our, you know, our mentalities and our perspectives on how we support each other, you know, like how we help each other. You know, it's like not because like we're expecting something, or like we're doing it because we need, you know, X, Y, and Z, or like, you know, it's like doing it because you know it's gonna help somebody, or you know it's gonna make somebody happy, or you know that, you know, if it were you, how would you want to be treated? Like you would want somebody to just do something because, you know, they wanted to make you smile, or, you know, they just wanted to teach you something because you were, you know, intrigued on a topic, or, you know, it's just like the possibilities are endless. But it's like using this time to take that opportunity to go above and beyond for somebody else just because it's the right thing to do, and because, you know, it's how we should live in this world. We should live where everybody loves each other, and, you know, we support each other, and we learn from each other, and we elevate together, and there's not competition, because I think that's what makes a lot of, that makes a lot of the energy shift, towards, darker things. Fuck, I forgot what I was saying. Hold on. Yeah, it's just changing how we do things altogether. Like, that's how I want the world to be. When I think of heaven on earth, I think of happy. And, it's like there's good and bad in the world, obviously. But a world where it's like good overpowers the bad in every aspect of life. Like how we, interact with each other, how we learn from each other, how we, grow. Like changing how this our species, coexist with each other. Because right now it's competitive. It's like everything's competitive. And it's like, why? When it's like, in the beginning of time, it's like people traded stuff. People traded stuff for, it's like you had this and I needed this, so let's trade this. Like that's how we became, a big international trading. Like that started like at the beginning, but it was like no money was involved. So I feel like we need to get back to that way of just our prime purpose is to support each other and figuring out how we can do that. Like, it's like we can help each other out. But it's like it feels like we're going back and forth and something new is coming in like old ways because we're stuck and we're being forced to deal with a lot of energy. And some of us are getting in panic survival mode, like we have to figure out what we're gonna do for the next couple of months. But it's like, yeah, we do. But I think the best way when it involves all of us coming up. You know what I'm saying? Like, because pretty soon, like, people are gonna hate me for saying this, but pretty soon we're all gonna be, low middle class, like middle low class. Like some people are still gonna be able to maintain their status because they still have, their jobs, or their businesses are still going on. But a lot of majority of people will be out of a job. Like, and we'll still be out of a job for the next couple of months. And majority of us, are gonna have to live off of the system. So it's like how we're all gonna have to climb the ladder. So don't, like, what I envision is that if we work together, we can climb the ladder way faster. And so I've really been thinking about that because I've just been processing, like, just all of the energy that's been going on, like, and even the different moon phases. And if you follow, if you follow the moon and its energy, like, even just a little bit, it makes you understand, like, why things are happening the way that they are. And people don't want to make that a spiritual thing, but it definitely is, because it's all connected. And the sooner we tap into, our connection to the earth, our connection to the universe, it's like, it makes sense. And it's like I come back to, the battle between good and bad, because it's real. Like, even the best people that I've ever known, you could see, we're all struggling with humanity in one way or another. And some of them are really extreme, and some of them are very minor, where it's like, just not wanting to, like, have a conversation with somebody, like, having that arrogance, like, you know more or whatever, or coming from a perspective of not understanding anything about the spiritual and just not wanting to go there at all. But it's like, we're all battling because we're all being challenged with good and bad, like, parts of ourselves in this time, in this energy that's been going on. So it's like paying attention to that. And then, like, looking back, like, after watching that documentary, I've been, like, really diving into lucid dreaming. And I usually don't remember right when I wake up. I just see pieces, like, throughout the day. And a lot of it, for me, like, goes back to, like, when I was 18, 19, into my 20s, and, coming back here, living in New York, and, like, my journey thus far. And, I've been having to feel a lot of those emotions again. And in the best way, because I find myself, like, gazing, and I'll, like, gaze, and it becomes like a daze where I'm kind of, like, zoned out for a minute. And, like, really I'm going into a place of where I was before, if that makes sense. And revisiting those times and thinking about, people that I've loved, friends that I had, connections, and it, like, made me really grateful for, times when it was like, I was low, and it was really fucking low. But I always somehow found a way to see the light in me and in someone or in a situation. And that was the only thing that kept me, like, surviving, really. And I think about, like, I've been thinking about that, and, it's like, I have no ill will against anybody. It's all love for me, because it's like I've learned so much about myself and my heart, and, my connection to, myself and the earth, and understanding, like, all of our connection. And, it's just like, it's been like amazing. And so revisiting all of that, I've been deciding, it's like, I only want to be the best version of myself. Like, I only want to be kind. Like, it's okay for me to express how I'm feeling, and, someone might take it and it might come off like bitchy, which I get that a lot because I just tend to just say what needs to be said, but it's never in a place like it's never coming from a place of hatred or anything like that. It's just like I have to express. That's just me. Like if I don't, it's like it fucks with me and my energy. So, I've literally had to come to terms with like it's okay for me to be truthful with myself and what I'm comfortable with and what I'm not comfortable with and what I'll tolerate and what I won't tolerate, and still be a kind person and still be a loving person. Like that doesn't make me less than or fake. It's just I'm choosing to bring the light in every situation, with consideration, with empathy, with understanding, because it's like this time, this corona time, it's been enlightening. And I know a lot of people think I'm nuts right now because I'm I know a lot of people like in music, in fashion, and only some of them I'm like, oh my god, this is the beautiful time to be alive, because people are being put in a place where they have to stimulate their minds with to pass time, and they're creating and they're connecting and they're speaking the truth. And I feel like more of us are going to be doing that because there's nothing else to do. But I'm going to go back to this documentary, but this documentary, Out of the Shadow, which I've been bringing it up, but it talks about all the conspiracy theories and the control the government has over our media and our entertainment. And I've been called to talk about spirituality, talk about my journey in that, my struggle as a female in this society going through a spiritual journey. And that coming up, it's we have the power right now to say what is publicized or not, because it's been proven and it's been fact. There's so many things that are coming up about the government's influence on our influences on each other or ourselves. And it's since I've been so called to talk about it, and then after seeing that documentary, it's we have the power right now to say what's popular and what's not, and what's publicized and what's not, because there's so many of us that are voicing our true selves or our personalities or our creativity, and it's so many of us. So imagine if we're all talking about the beautiful things of life, encouraging our kids to be authentic and love themselves, encouraging our boys to be respectful, encouraging creativity, encouraging love, encouraging compassion, family, unity. Like, if we all decide to start publicizing the best qualities of the human species, it's like, can you imagine who's gonna win? Because as far as I'm concerned, like, the enemy has been winning this whole fucking time. And after watching this documentary, which I will tag Out of the Shadow, people who ever questioned it, you know, it's like validation. Like, you're probably gonna like freak out like I was. Like, I had to watch it twice because it's like, my grandmother used to talk about this and I used to think she was crazy. And then when I started to pay more attention and, you know, educate myself more, it's like my whole personality changed. You know, my likes changed. A lot of the things that I liked changed. How I viewed music changed. How I viewed art changed. Because I started to think and feel for myself. So it's like, I've just been so heavy-hearted on this. Because it's like, I see so many people, you know, starting their YouTubes or, you know, selling their photographs or selling this, that, and the other, whatever. It's like, that's all dandy. But it's like, let's also use this platform to inspire each other. Inspire each other and collaborate with each other. Because this struggle is real. This struggle is real, for real. And I think I have a strong feeling like we would be so better and thrive so hard together. Like, I just feel like that's the whole point of this situation, because so many things is coming to light. And I watch people and it's like, you can tell like they don't understand or they're not paying attention to the bigger picture. Because it's bigger than just, you know, the virus. You know, it's bigger than the trade war. It's bigger than all of that. It's like our whole species is in trouble right now. And I think our focus should be more on, you know, how we can find a solution for that, not how we can individually find temporary solutions for, you know, this, you know, trying times that we're in. Like, that's not going to get us anywhere. And it's like the people that have a voice and that have a following base, it's like, that's what I keep talking about. Like, it's like the people that I know in fashion, the people that I know in music, and even bigger people. You know, like, he talked about Katy Perry. He talked about, like, you know, all these people that have huge following bases, and it's like, obviously, you know, they serve a purpose. But that structure is collapsing. You know, there's people that aren't famous, you know, are building huge platform base, and it's like, imagine, you know, the people that you can reach with that. And if we're all doing that, and we're all trying to figure out how we can get through this, it's like, it'd be a better situation for all of us, I think. And it's like, I babbled and babbled on about that, but it's like, I've really been feeling so heavy on it, because it's like, we're in such beautiful time. And like when I talk to people, and you know, and some of them, their reactions are kind of like sad, or like, you know, people are, you know, doing their usual things, but they're more focused on how, you know, making money, which we all should be. But it's like, I feel like that you need to just redirect that energy to, you know, not so selfish in a selfless way. If like that makes sense. Like I see, like I want people to come together, and I think that's the only way that we are going to get through this. And he talks about that, and they talk about that in the documentary a lot. And it's like, I've been talking about this. It's like, I had to watch it a few times because it's like, it's happening. And like, I see so many people who are doing it and are trying to, you know, help the collective get on the same wave, like energy wave. But then it's like, but then there's a price. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, oh, this is what's happening, and this is what's been real life, especially if you get clicked and you realize that this is a matrix, and, you know, this is like a game symmetry kind of bullshit, right? And it's like, but then you don't understand how to navigate through that, or understand it, or change it, or, you know, deal with it. And it's like, it's the perfect time for us to be, you know, selfless, just completely selfless, because it's like there's plenty of people that, you know, could help a lot of people with this time, you know, but they're, you know, they're more worried about getting paid. And it's like big and little people. But it's like, how can you say that that's selfless? Because it's like, if you have the knowledge, or if you have something that can help someone else, it's like, we're all broke right now. Most of us are broke. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard enough trying to make sure you have food. You know, a lot of us, it's worse. So like I just feel so deeply that it's like, this is not the time for that. This is the time for, you know, to be completely selfless, because in having empathy, you know what I'm saying? Like, because we have to realize that we are all in this together. Like, if you know anything about what's going on, it's like, the whole world is fucked. And there's so many things going on. And a lot of us are struggling. But if we have the mentality of like, you know, how can I get paid by a trying situation, or how can I get paid by, you know, helping the weak, it's like you're still under the program of lack, and still under the program of dark and negative energy. Like, that's what's real, and people don't seem to get that. But more people are going to come out, and more people are going to start talking about it, and more people, because people are tired of being alone or feeling alone. So a lot of people, it's not just me, like, there's plenty of people that I follow that, you know, don't have a lot of followers, and, you know, just speak for expression because, they just feel like somebody out there is going to relate. And it's like more of us are feeling like that, where it's like, just help because it's the right thing to do. Because it's, the time for us to help and give and support each other and choose the light in every aspect of life, like completely, and seeing when we're not, so we can understand like how we can change that or be better. Because it's like, I'm just gonna go off on a little tangent, but like, this is an example of somebody that like, it was a lesson for me for sure. But I couldn't express when they were not being right, especially if it bothered me. And for me, it's like, in the past, I could easily not say anything because I avoid confrontation, but then be very passive aggressive and not communicate at all. But then like I became to a point where it's like I can't even function right without expressing something, like if I'm feeling some type of way. So, and it's like my face has always told my emotions, but now it's like, okay, so now I need to spill the tea. And they didn't like that. And it's like they used me, which I was fine with because, they didn't have anywhere to go. And, it's like, it doesn't affect me because I know that it's not about me. Me saying something, that hurt, like, that not didn't hurt me, but like bothered me. And it's like, I need to express that. I'm a Taurus. And, coming from a place of not being able to express to only being able to express, it's like, okay, I'm going to say what I have to say and we can talk about it we could talk about it and be done with it and move on. And it's like, I could have easily, changed my whole perspective on the situation and said F you, like, for, doing something, not right in the situation. Not caring that they didn't have anywhere to go or not caring about any of that, just being petty. But it's like, no, I was still choosing to be kind because at the end of the day, it's like his reaction has nothing to do with me. How I proceed to treat a person after they did something or after whatever, it's like how I choose to, I choose to just treat you the same way. It's like, why do I need to be different? Like, why love you or care about you any less? Like, you're a person going through something. And, however it's like you experience that, however you need to experience that. That has nothing to do with me. And it's like, if we all have that, idea, that attitude where it's like, it's okay to speak your mind, if it's not hurting or demeaning someone else, obviously, because, you treat people with respect. You always speak how you feel. You're always true to your desire as a person, but still choosing to be kind. And that's my whole point of this rant, is that documentary just made me feel so deeply into that, because there's so many are choosing that in our creativity, our communication, our community. It's like, it's beautiful. And then it's like watching people, handle things, how they're handling things. It's almost fascinating. But I think I'm going to stop ranting now. But I highly suggest watching Out of the Shadow. I feel like it'll open up a lot of doors for you in understanding. I know it did for me. Like, you saw me go into a whole bunch of rants because I feel like there's an ultimate battle with light and dark in this time. And it's also a battle that is within ourselves too. And it's understanding that and choosing only the best parts. Letting go of, selfish, narcissistic, petty behavior and attitudes and ideologies, and just getting back in touch with ourselves as a species, as a human, remembering what that feels like. Because we all can relate right now. We all can relate. So it's like, it's time for us to let go and be selfless. Like, not being arrogant, like refusing help, or, doing something only to get something, kind of bullshit. It's like, it's time to let that go. Because it's like, we're entering into a new time. And I much rather would have a life where, neighbors were actually neighbors. Where, families looked out for each other. People were loyal to each other. People were understanding and loving to each other. People wanted to see elevation within their community, within, their species, wanted to see the planet thrive and wanted to, protect the animals. It's like, I want a world that's like that. And I'll fight for that world by letting go. It's like, I'm super down to just talk about it. And it's like, I'm just going on and on and on. Back to the point. That's pretty much my point. It's like, I'm down to collaborate and unite and everything else. It's just like, my hands itching, so you know what the fuck that means. But it's like, some people aren't. And my point is, like, you need to get on board. It's time to get on board. Because that selflessness act is, it's dying. And, real authenticity is gonna win. Light is gonna win. Love is gonna win. Community is gonna win. It's like, I see it already. And, it's just seeing everybody's way of processing it. It's like mind blowing. Anyway, Out of the Shadow. Open your mind, open your heart, and, understand the truth so you can make your choice on which side you're going to be on.
Good or bad, and by every aspect of life, like choosing to be good,
choosing to
be as the Creator intended us to be. So, that being said, I love you. I've ranted
for 40 minutes, but it's like I made this video already too.
I'll post that one after this one.
But it's like I love you, and I'm looking forward to
seeing the growth within all of us.
And I'm looking forward to seeing, how
we become more humane
as a species.
And I'm here for the ride. And I'm here for you if you want to chat.
Or if you, whatever. It's like you already know. Diamond got you, baby.
Diamond got you,
baby.
But I love you. And yeah, I hope you have
beautiful